Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, finally, to my latest top 10 favourite and least favourite ciders for the last 100 reviews, which is 451 to 550. Yes, it has been a little bit longer since my previous one, but obviously a certain virus got in the way of things and actually stopped me uploading videos for about 3 months because my wife had to work from home and didn't have access to my PC. So 3 months later than expected, here we go. For those of you that are new to my channel and don't know the premise of this, basically I do things a little bit differently to other top 10 lists that you see on YouTube. I don't do a top 10 best and worst cider list because I find that very subjective, and like one person's best could be another person's worst. So what I do is, for the previous 100 reviews, I do my top 10 favourite and least favourite ciders. Therefore, you know, you can still pass judgment on whether you think it will be for you or not. And I'd imagine when I eventually get round to doing 1,000 reviews, which mean I'm over halfway there anyway, so who knows, in the next few years I might actually get that, then I might do a top 10 best and worst ciders list from the number one spots from my previous 10 lists. But that's way in the future. So yes, today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favourite ciders from the last 100 reviews. And I don't know what it is about the favourite ciders list, but it's always so much harder to compile the list and order things in the correct, in my preferred order. Mainly because the ciders that I'm going to list are all just absolutely superb, and it's very close to, like number 5 is probably about the same as number 4, but I think it is just personal preference as to how they have been ordered. There are some 9 out of 10s on here, so it's not all completely 9.5 out of 10s on this list. I know there was one top 10 list that I did that was just all 9.5s, but not this time. But that being said, I mean, 9 out of 10s are still fantastic ciders and definitely worth checking out. Now, before we crack on with the list, a couple of stipulations. No ciders that I will have had from beer or cider festivals, but, well, COVID got in the way of that, so that's null and void because I didn't go to any beer or cider festivals. But the main one is 1 cider per producer. Otherwise, this list could just be filled with just 1 or 2 producers, which isn't really fair. I like to showcase different cider producers on here to give you guys more of an idea of what I personally like, and hopefully you guys will as well. So, with that said, before I get into number 10, just want to make an honourable mention to a couple of ciders. One of them being my latest cider review that I've done, Ascension Cider's Champing at the Pit. Their white peach blended cider. If you want to know my views, just check out my previous review on this, but because it's such a recent addition, I felt it was a little unfair to maybe make it onto the list, but definitely worth checking that out. And the other one was Presshead's White Label. Again, a really fantastic cider and everything, but the main reason that it's not made it onto the list is because no sooner have I tried one of Presshead's ciders that the founder decided that he wanted to move on to other projects, and so he discontinued production of his ciders, which is a real bummer because I was really hoping to try more of his list, like more of his range out, but not going to be able to anymore. And unless you luckily go into a bottle shop and they have some of their ciders remaining, you're not going to be able to get hold of them anymore. And the labelling was fantastic as well, really great, and the cider overall was really well produced, and you could tell that a lot of care and love had gone into it. So it's a shame that we've lost such a great company, but if you do see Presshead's White Label out, definitely go out and give it a go because it's fantastic. Now, with that said, let's get on with the number 10. And number 10 is, well, it's an infused cider starting off the list. And it's one from a company that I've done quite a lot of reviews of recently, but that's mainly because they sent a mixed case over for me to try. It was a toss-up between the elderflower and this one, but I decided to go for this. Number 10 goes to Garden Cider's Wild Strawberry. This is how you make a fruit-infused cider. It's all natural ingredients in this, and Garden Cider have such a great initiative where any surplus apples that would otherwise just be wasted, they gather up and they make it into cider. And they say, if you've got any spare apples, come along and we'll make use of them. What a great initiative, and stops any surplus waste being made and stuff. And not only that, but the ciders that they make are absolutely fantastic, and Wild Strawberry is no exception to that. As I said, I could have put the Elderflower on here as well, because that scored the same rating of 9 out of 10. Again, a very well-balanced Elderflower cider. I do feel that Elderflower is a bit of a hit and miss. You can either get it completely right, or it all goes horribly wrong. But the Wild Strawberry just tasted so fresh. It was literally like I was just taking a bite out of a fresh wild strawberry, just straight plucked from its plucked from the plant and stuff. So yes, well done, Garden Cider Company. You obviously know how to make infused ciders, and yeah, if you haven't tried any Garden Cider's range out, definitely give them a go. You won't be disappointed. So number 9. Number 9 is, again, another 9 out of 10, but it's from a company I've done a few of their reviews before recently. But this, I believe, was part of it was one of my Crafty Nectar Cider Company's boxes, and I'm really glad that they put this one in, because I've been wanting to try this one for a while, mainly because of the label, but also the cider inside was just top notch. Number 9 goes to Ganley and Naish's Mourning Drop. Let's see if I can just zoom in on there. Picture quality is not that great on that one, but the labelling instantly drew me onto this. Just the front labelling of the Death's Head Hawk Moth there, and just a great play on words as well. But the cider inside is fantastic too. I suppose rustic is one way of describing it. I mean, it's a pretty strong cider as well. I think it was 8%, something like that. Or at least it was somewhere around that percentage. But it was just rustic. It's all those lovely woody oaky hits and stuff, and it just balanced though. There wasn't anything too overpowering in the cider. It was just really easy drinking, really smooth. It's probably not going to be to everyone's tastes. This is definitely one that, if you like this style of cider, then you will love it. But I feel that if you're just starting off in the cider world, this one might actually knock your block off, to be fair. But if you are intrigued, definitely go and give Ganley and Naish's cider range a go. I've tried a few of theirs. I can't remember the names of them, but just check out my reviews of them, because I don't think I've ever had a bad cider from Ganley and Naish. So yeah, keep up the top work, Ganley and Naish, and hopefully I'll be able to try more of your range soon. So number 9 goes to Ganley and Naish's Mourning Drop. Right, number 8. Number 8 goes to, well, it's a cider company that I've had ciders from before, but then they stopped doing their ciders. But then they repackaged themselves and made completely different ciders, and they're also fantastic as well. I'm talking about Beard and Sabre Cider Company. So their previous batch of ciders, which were sort of like nautical themed, were fantastic ciders. Go and check out my reviews of them. They were superb. But then they stopped production of them, and I was really disappointed. I was like, oh no, not another one. But then they decided to basically almost exclusively make hopped ciders, and I tell you what, they are also doubly fantastic. The number 8 spot easily goes to Beard and Sabre's Dolores, which is their original Cascade hopped cider. Now, the review that I did of this, it was a slightly different labelling. It was sort of like a clear, like a whitish background to it, but still really, really cool labelling. Simple, but eye-catching and enticing as well, and the whole theming of like pagan gods and rituals and stuff like that. Now I totally dig that, I really do. But the cider inside is fantastic as well. I did have a bit of trepidation when I heard that hopped ciders were becoming a thing. I thought, is this going to work? But I tell you what, it really, really does. So not only do you get a really lovely fresh and juicy cider in here, but the Cascade hops just add this lovely citric, almost floral sort of overtone to it, and it just balances out so well. I could easily drink bottles and bottles of this stuff any day of the week. I mean, I've got to be thankful that they sent over 3 bottles of this for me to try, and I'm really glad they did, because it's superb. I'm really hoping I get to try some more of the range soon. In fact, I will be doing, because obviously I've hit 2,000 subscribers, and their Congle the Blind won the vote. So once this has happened, then check out my review of that afterwards. So, but with that said, number 8 spot easily goes to Beard and Sabre's Dolores hopped cider. So now we're getting into the 9.5 out of 10s. So yeah, pretty good innings for the good ciders that I've had so far. And this one is, well, it's all the way from New Zealand, courtesy of long-time viewer Eric Bryan, who met up with me and, you know, gave me about 3 or 4 ciders because he was visiting relatives over here in the UK, but he does live in New Zealand. So he just came over and he actually met me face to face. We had a coffee together, and yeah, he gave me these ciders to try. And I've had this cider company before from my local bottle shop, but this one I've not had before. It's Zeffer Cider Company's, and it is their apple crumble cider. Now, this literally did just taste of apple crumble, but not in a bad way. You think it's just going to be thick and cloying and syrupy and stuff like that, but it wasn't. It was just so really well made. All of the flavours just balanced each other really, really well. There was nothing overpowering. You'd think that something like the cinnamon or something like that would just be like, that's all you can taste, but all of the flavours just mixed together, and it was really lovely, full-bodied, and just so Moorish. Now, If I'm led to believe right from Eric, I believe that Zeffer Cider Company are now sort of basing their efforts on hard seltzers instead of ciders. I'm hoping they are actually still making these ciders because they are absolutely superb. And not only that, but I do believe hard seltzers are a bit of a gimmick, really. I know they are massive in America, but alcoholic sparkling water, come on, guys. That's my personal opinion anyway. But yeah, honestly, this is just a taste sensation in itself. A lovely winter warmer cider, I think you could call it, because it's just got all those lovely warming flavours behind it, and just really, really well made. So as I said, I hope they are still making it, and well, if not, hopefully you can get them in some bottle shops at some point. But yes, number 7 spot goes to Zeffer's Apple Crumble Cider. So, number six, as I said, we are into the 9.5 out of 10s. And again, we're going cross-country for this one, but not New Zealand. We're going to Australia this time. This one is big thanks to long-time viewer Ed Varga. So he sent 3 ciders from Australia for me to try, and this one stood out above the others. I mean, the Willie Smith's one was a really lovely cider, but this one was just fantastic. So the number 6 spot goes to Eddie's Cider Company with their Red Hill cider from the Mornington Peninsula. Yeah, this was just wow. It initially sort of reminded me of just like, oh no, this is just going to be an apple juice and everything. But then as the flavours evolved into it, it just became more and more, well, Moorish, shall we say. It had the base sort of almost, I want to say almost like a malty characteristic behind it, which I've not really had before in a cider, but it just worked so well, and it's just amazing just to get all these different flavours, like how ciders can differ in tastes from like countries and stuff, even from the different areas of Australia. It was just amazing just how different each of the ciders tasted. But as I said, this one just stood head and shoulders above the rest. I mean, the label was really traditional looking as well, and it just overall the package was just a fantastic effort. So yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to try another cider from Eddie's Cider Company from Australia, but if I do, then I'm sure they're going to be just as good as this one. So yes, number 6 easily goes to Eddie's Red Hill from the Mornington Peninsula. And not only that, but they were using 100% certified organic apples as well, so no hidden nasties on that one. So yes, number 6, Eddie's Red Hill. Now, number 5 might be a little bit of a controversial one, but as I said, the ratings are so close between these ciders that, you know, this could have gone one way or the other. This could have gone higher, this could have gone lower. But number 5 goes to Oliver's cider, and it is it's his Gold Rush number 6. Now, I didn't mention in the review that it was Gold Rush number 6 because each iteration of Gold Rush does taste slightly different. But this one was just, well, I mean, I've said it before, Tom Oliver, what he doesn't know about creating ciders isn't worth knowing. And this is no exception. This is sort of one of his like flagship ciders, I suppose you could say. But he just puts little tweaks and little intricacies into each different iteration. Like I believe number 8 was a barrel aged edition, which sounded lovely, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get a hold of that, unfortunately. But this one was just pure, I don't know, when you think of a traditional dry cider, this is as close to that as you can get. Just tannic, rustic, woody, earthy notes, so well balanced as all these other ciders have been as well. Super drinkable too, and it's just a shame that it was only in a 330ml bottle. I got it from Borough Market, because there's a little cider stall there, and I saw this and I was like, I've got to go and give this a go, and I'm really glad I did. I am hoping that I can get more of Oliver's Gold Rush series out, or if not, just some more of Oliver's ciders, because as I said, he's just a wizard at cider making, and he's done so many different collaborations with different cider makers as well, and they all just sound absolutely superb. So hopefully in the future I'll get around to trying more of his range. But for now, number 5 easily goes to Oliver with his Fine Cider Gold Rush number 6. Okay, we're getting into the top 4s now, and well, what would the top 10 favourite ciders list be without a Dunkertons cider being mentioned? Because Dunkertons is one of my favourite cider producers out there, and not only that, but the loveliest people as well. And I'm so grateful that they've sent so many of their range for me to try. So I am totally grateful for this. They did send this one over to me as well. It looked a little bit different because it was their old labelling, but this one still oozes pure class. So number 4 goes to Dunkertons with their Vintage cider. Pretty much one of the last of their range that I had to try, and well, what a fantastic cider it is. This is probably one of the best vintages that I have ever tried. And it's, when you think of a vintage, you just think rustic, oaky, just full of depth, full of character, and full of flavour. And this had it in spades. I believe it was 7.4% ABV. And it was just, yeah, it was probably one of my favourite Dunkertons ciders that I have tried as well. And that's saying a lot, because I've tried pretty much all of their range, and they've all been absolutely fantastic. This one is a sort of more of a, I want to say like a limited range cider, not like their Kingston Black. That's like a once a year sort of thing. But this one is one of the more rarer ones that you can't really find. But if you do get a hold of it, I mean, they have it available on their shop. So do yourself a favour. Go onto Dunkertons' website from here, buy a mixed case of their ciders, and just enjoy them, especially their vintage. If you love vintage ciders, this is probably one of my favourites that I have ever tried. So, well done, Dunkertons. You've easily made the number 4 spot on my top 10 favourite ciders list, and I'm hoping there's going to be more, because you've got their, I think they've released like a craft cider, like in a can and stuff. I've not tried that yet, so I'll have to keep my eyes peeled. Right, so we're into the top 3 then. So what has made the number 3 spot? Well, it's a cider company that I've only recently been introduced to, but I'm glad I have, because their dingy little 330ml stubby bottles have just warmed my heart. And the ciders inside have been fantastic as well. It's from Bignose and Beardy Cider Company, and I could have put a lot of their ciders on this spot, but I did decide to go for their Katy Oak single variety. Now, I've only ever had one other cider that had Katy apples in it, and that was Thatcher's Katy. This is in a totally different ballpark to that. This was just, you would not believe that it was just one apple variety that has gone into the making of this cider. And the thing about Bignose and Beardy ciders is that they're all completely still. There's no carbonation at all. And I don't know, this one is more of a rarer kind. This one was back in like 2015 or something that this was made. But I know that they do sort of like rotate their releases and stuff, so I'm hoping that this one will get released again at some other point. But my goodness me, what a cacophony of flavours came out from this, just from one particular apple variety. And again, it was just so moreish, so tasty, and just so, well, refreshing as well, and just balanced, just so balanced. I know we keep on saying this, but it really was. So yeah, I could have put their, could have put their oast toast, I could have put their Boar's Head. I think the Boar's Head got a 9 out of 10 actually. But honestly, I've had so much of their range. They've all been fan-bloody-tastic. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, but man, they just sit well with me at all, to be fair. So again, Bignose and Beardy, they do a mixed cider case, so do yourself a favour, you know, log onto their site, buy a mixed case, and just, you know, see what all the fuss is about. Because, well, there is a reason that Bignose and Beardy have made their number 3 spot with their Katy Oak single variety, because, well, they are a fantastic cider company. Right, number 2, and this is, this was tough. Between number 2 and number 3, it was tough to, like, you know, pick which one was going to go where. But number 2 spot, I had to put this on. Well, I could have easily put any of the 3 ciders from this company on because they were all just fan-bloody-tastic. But I've decided to put their one of their latest releases on at number 2. It is Crafty Nectar Cider Company. I've already mentioned them before, but this is one of their own. It's their number 9, which is a co-ferment cider, and it's a collaboration with Once Upon a Tree. But it's a co-ferment blackberry and hibiscus infused cider. I really didn't know what to expect going into this cider because I've never really had hibiscus in a cider before, and my goodness, I was blown away. The flavours coming from this were just fantastic. It was like I was having a blackberry cheesecake. The fruitiness was there, but you also had the lovely dry, crisp apple flavours just underneath, not being overpowered by the light adjuncts that have gone in. And the hibiscus, I'm assuming, gave it was like a creamy texture behind everything. It really was it just tasted so indulgent. Every sip was just like you had to just savour the flavours going into it. I mean, you can see it's an award-winning cider, and well, I can definitely see why. But again, I could have put their number 8, their rhubarb-infused cider. That, again, was an absolutely amazing tasting infused cider. Some rhubarb ciders I've had have been absolutely disgusting, but Crafty Nectar know about their stuff. Their number 7, number 8, and number 9 are all fantastic ciders, and if you've never tried them, again, go onto their site, Crafty Nectar. You can get a mixed cider pack that showcases all different varieties of ciders from all different companies from all over the UK, and they normally throw in their number 7, 8 or 9 into the mix as well. So yeah, number 2 spot so easily goes to Crafty Nectar's number 9, and the labelling is great as well. I mean, zebra butts. What more do you want from a cider label? So, with that said, we're at number 1, and, well, this was an easy pick. This was the only easy pick of the whole thing. I knew as soon as I was making this list, this particular cider was going to go to number 1, because this is probably as close to perfection as I have had so far. It's Hawks Cider Company, and it is their Ciderama. Well, what can I say? A 4-way collaboration between the Hawks, and so Blackstock and Oliver's, again, Tom Oliver, all added their little bit into the mix here. Like Blackstock added Himalayan sea salt. Tom Oliver added his like little bit of Herefordshire magic into the mix. And just, my goodness, what a cider. Words just fail me. It just does how amazing this cider was. And the annoying thing is, I don't think it's ever going to be available again. But it easily went to number 1. It was just amazing just how complex the cider was. Every sip, you got something a little bit different from it. Sometimes you got the Himalayan sea salt just on the back end. Sometimes you got the nice rustic dryness from the Herefordshire like yeast and stuff that had gone into it. Man, honestly, this was just an absolutely superb cider, and the labelling is fantastic as well. I don't know if this is ever going to become available again. I don't know if the 4 companies are ever going to get together again and make this. Not only that, but I think Hawks have like sort of changed slightly now. They've got like a new appearance and stuff like that. So this could be a rare breed by now. This could be like not available again. But honestly, if you do out there in the wild bottle shops and everything, if you see a can of this available, don't hesitate, buy it. It's a roller coaster of flavours and very easily deserving of the #1 spot on this list. So well done, Hawks. Well, Anso, Oliver's and Blackstock coming together and creating as close to perfect as an infused cider can be, and pretty much one of my favourite ciders that I have ever tried, and that is saying a lot. So there we go, that's the sorry about that. That's the top 10 favourite ciders list. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and well, tune in for the next video where, well, we've done the best, now we're going to do the rest. Yes, join me next time where I'll be counting down my top 10 least favourite ciders from the last 100 reviews, and oh boy, there are some proper stinkers in there. So until then, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.